One of the things that has surprised folk is in digging into what Trump has been talking about, and the mainstream media bearing, kind of getting back to what I was talking about at the beginning here, is that he's made a number of comments which have surprised those on the right, especially the Christian right, because he is the only candidate out there that is championing the right of Christians to immigrate to the United States. And it seems a little weird that a candidate that's been married 3 times and kind of appears as a ruthless business titan in TV shows is not exactly the type of guy that is the knight in shining armor that attracts Christian voters. That's what Leo Hohmann said in his article about Donald Trump this weekend. But it looks as if he's trying to angle for that vote. I mean, that's in part, but it sounds genuine what he's saying. I mean, it's very difficult. This is the warning I've given on this show a number of times before. People during election season say whatever. I mean, that just tends to be the case. I mean, you look at our own Lisa Murkowski, how she becomes conservative 30 minutes before the, well, a little bit longer than that. I guess she's already proclaiming her conservative credentials here, and we're over a year out from the 2016 race. Of course, I think people in Alaska have got her figured out. Her number is identified. The question is whether or not people are going to corrupt their vote and vote for her anyway, even though she's not a conservative, or they're just liberals voting for the liberal candidate, which is, of course, what's happened in the past. But, when they end up getting that additional vote from Republicans who compromise their vote, that's what pushes her over the top. And I guess they're able to sleep at night because she sits there and lies to everybody about what she is. She's no conservative, never has been. Occasionally she'll throw in a vote or throw in some rhetoric. But that's the problem. These people go out there and they steal your vote. That's basically what it boils down to. And I'm not talking about vote integrity. This state has plenty of those issues as it is, but I'm talking about stealing your vote by deceiving you. Just like in a transaction in the marketplace, right? You tell somebody that you're selling them something, and if you're a disreputable businessman or woman, you lie to somebody about what you're selling, they pay you top dollar for it, they get home, they find out it's not as described, they were ripped off, they were stolen from effectively. And it's the same way in politics, happens all the time, where these no-good politicians want to keep their power, and so they lie to get your vote, and that's what happens. And so with Donald Trump, that's the question. I mean, is he out there really speaking the heart, or is he out there lying to the electorate to get your vote, or maybe even to split up the Republican primary? I mean, that's part of the concern that a lot of people have, is that he may just be out there to make sure the conservative doesn't win. To be honest with you, I mean, we already have enough conservatives in the race to make sure a conservative doesn't win. It doesn't take the addition of Donald Trump. And you've got Bush that is just wrapping up the Rhino establishment vote. He doesn't even have to act like a conservative. He's already running against the Democrat because he knows he's got that establishment vote, 30% or so, 35% wrapped up. And the other 65 to 70% of the real Republicans are going to split them up among all the conservative candidates. I mean, for crying out loud, Walker just got in the race. You got Cruz, you got Trump. I mean, you got all these, you got Ben Carson, and they're going to take from the conservative base to such an extent that the establishment candidate just waltzes in with the nomination. And that means the Republican Party loses. I mean, it's Romney deja vu, McCain deja vu. I mean, you don't run a conservative candidate, people stay home. I mean, they're done with this thing. As the country continues to push leftward, whether under a Republican or Democratic administration, and people see just more of the same from the Republican Party, they stay home. Why be part of the problem? That's kind of the attitude. And the problem with these Republicans that go out there and masquerade, it's that you actually feel kind of safe with them and power. But the reality of it is they're snowing you into silence, into passivity, so they can continue to move the country closer and closer to the internationalist model that most of these people are disciples to. And it's not just that, it's the big government model, it's the crony capitalist model, it's the model that shuts you out, that shuts the people of the country out. And that's one of the reasons why the Republicans will lose if they nominate an establishment candidate, and it looks like that's where we're headed. So don't complain about Trump splitting up the vote. It's already split up. The one thing Trump's doing is he's getting out the good word. He's forcing people to talk about immigration, and he's also hammering McCain. I love it. Anybody else hammering McCain? The guy needs to be hammered. He's a fake, just like our senator. Fake. Anyway, stay with us. If you got thoughts on that, call in 569-1080 outside Anchorage, 907-569-1080. Would love to hear from you. The Joe Miller Show.